Okay, so this exercise is for those that have some irritation with the potentially the sciatic nerve, or as it splits into some of its other nerves further down the leg. It's not necessarily an exercise you would do if you have like a discal issue, but it depends on what your diagnosis is. So typically we're talking about a nerve that's a bit irritated outside of the spinal cord. So it would have exited and now it's somewhere in through that lower limb, and it's not sliding nicely. It's a mechanical interface. It's not sliding nicely against other tissues. So as we know, when we're moving, we've got muscles going in opposite directions, we've got blood vessels, we've got nerves, and there's all this other fluid that's moving around as you move. And this will be an exercise to help promote some better movement, reduce some inflammation, and provide a little bit of pain relief if the nerve irritation is the issue. Okay, so the important thing with this type of exercise is that nerves are quite irritable, particularly if they're already irritated, and you're not trying to really create a stretch like you would normally for a muscle. So you're not looking for an intensity behind this, you're just looking to be able to slide the nerve through its pathways, and if you're doing the movements that you see me do now, then that's what's happening. You might feel that there's a bit of tension towards the end of one of those ranges. It's not a tension that you need to necessarily push into. You're trying to build up a desensitization to that sliding of the nerve. And we're trying to get it to slide at both ends. So we're never actually stretching the nerve. So we've got a couple sort of general options. Usually most people will start in through this position, and what you're doing as you go up with the foot, you point the toes. And so what that means is you're shortening it at the ankle, but then you're lengthening it at the knee. As you come back down, then we put the toes up, and now I'm lengthening it down at the ankle, and I'm shortening it at the knee. And so we go through this flossing movement. Might do 6 to 10 reps, and then have a rest and do that handful of times during the day. If it feels way too easy and it doesn't make a change in your symptoms, then you can come up to some seated options. And you probably want to be high enough that the legs are sort of dangling. So maybe this might be a little bit low for me, but for the purposes, easy enough to show. So hands behind your back, you slump down like this, and then we're doing the same thing, except now we're going to add in a slide from the other end of the spinal cord, so up at the head. So as I go leg forward, my toes are up, I'm going to look up at the ceiling. So I'm shortening it at my neck, and I'm lengthening it down through here. And as my foot comes down, I look down at my foot. So looking up, looking down, looking up, looking down. Yeah. So goal being that you slide both ends, and you're promoting a better sort of mechanical sliding against these other tissues. But again, be gentle, be kind to your nerves. They can get irritated quite easily, so don't overdo this.